Hello dear students, greetings to all. In the last class we have seen the types of agriculture, and there we have seen food crops and cash crops, then rice farming, wheat farming, cotton farming, etc. And today we are going to look at commercial grain farming. Commercial farming is mostly practiced in middle latitudes, and crops are grown for a commercial purpose in many developed countries such as Canada, USA, Russia, Ukraine, Argentina, and Australia, and in some parts of India. The main purpose of this cultivation is market. It will be focused on the national and international markets. Wheat is the most important crop grown in India. In USA, there are distinct wheat, that means so different types of wheats are there. Not only wheat, but also corn, cotton, etc. are also produced in commercial farming. In these areas, population density is low. As a result, per person availability of land is very high. That means the places where they are cultivating commercial farming or where they are doing commercial farming, there the land will be more, the population will be less, because where there is more population, the availability of land will be less. So as a conclusion, we can say that the places where there are less population, there will be more land and they can do the commercial farming. That means commercial farming means a huge acres of land will be used for production of something, or maybe a huge area is used for the production. That means farms are of big sizes, spreading over hundreds of hectares. So commercial farming is done in a very big land. So most of the work on the farms are done by machines like tractors, levelers, seed drills, and combined harvesters, etc. Compared to intensive agriculture, the amount of labor and capital applied per unit of area is relatively small here. We have already studied what is an intensive farming. Intensive farming means they will be using a very small amount of land and they will be using high quality seeds and a good number of people and a good amount of water. So whatever is required in a high amount is produced or is given. But at the same time, in commercial farming, when we calculate the amount of capital and the labor per unit, then it will be less here. In commercial farming, they will be using the machines instead of people. So it will increase the production and decrease the production cost. So the main purpose of using machines is to reduce the production cost. With that, they will get a good amount of profit. So we can say like this also, it can be considered as extensive agriculture. So intensive agriculture means in a small area they are providing everything very good seeds, good land, a good number of people for production, etc. But here a huge area, and obviously they will be providing good seeds, but at the same time they will be using good machineries. The number of laborers will be reduced. Instead of that, they will use a good amount of machines, which will increase the production and decrease the production cost. That's why it can be called as extensive agriculture. But the total production is very high because of large area under cultivation. In Europe, there has been a trend of diversification of crops instead of specialization. The crops grown as cereals, vegetables, oilseeds, and roots. Specialization means for a particular area they will be selecting a particular crop and they will be cultivating. But instead of that, they have a diversification, which means that they have used different types, varieties of crops are used or cultivated in commercial farming or extensive agriculture. Now the next point is that when crops are combined with the livestock, the type of farming is known as mixed farming. That means different crops will be cultivated together in mixed farming. And the next one is dairy farming. Raising of cattle for milk products known as dairy farming. It is also prevalent in most of the countries. This is an introduction for commercial farming. Now let us look at different types of commercial farmings. Here we are going to look at tea farming, coffee farming, rubber farming, and plantation agriculture. These four things will be dealt in this audio. First of all, tea farming. Tea is made from leaves of tea plant. It has many varieties. Mainly there are two types. One is small leaf and the other one is large leaf. Small leaf is mainly from China and the large leafed tea is from Assam. And this Assam tea is very popular all over the world. Chinese were the earliest tea drinkers in the world. Earlier, the habit of tea drinking was restricted to rich people only. That means only rich people drank tea in the earlier time. It was also considered as a medicinal drink. The colonial British first discovered the Assam tea in the forest of northeast India. That means when the Britishers came to India, they found this large leafed Assam tea from the forest of northeast India. Tea plantation or tea gardens are large areas under tea cultivation. Apart from developing tea plantation in Assam, they also developed tea plantations in Sri Lanka. Now let us look at the climate for tea plantation. It required a moderate temperature, not a very high temperature, not too cold temperature. It needed a moderate temperature up to 25 degrees Celsius and rainfall of about 200 centimeter per year. The commercial cultivation of tea is restricted to rainy tropical and humid subtropical regions because the climate is very important. And the soil for tea plantation or tea cultivation is alluvial soil. A well drained alluvial soil is good for tea cultivation. Apart from India, other major tea producers are Sri Lanka, Japan, Indonesia, and China. More than 3/4 of world's population of tea is contributed by these four countries, which are them Sri Lanka, Japan, Indonesia, and China. In India, tea is produced in Assam, West Bengal, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. And if you take the entire production of tea, Assam is produced half of its production. That means in India, 50% of the production is done in Assam. And the next one is coffee farming. 1/3 of the world population drinks coffee, the second largest beverage after tea. The first one is tea and the second one is coffee. Even when some regions denounced coffee as an intoxicating drink, it's something like alcohol. Its stimulating effects made it popular all over the world. So when we drink coffee, we become more energetic and active. Now let us look at how it is produced. The coffee plants are cultivated for their seeds, or it is called the beans, which are roasted, ground, and sold for brewing coffee. So as you can see the picture, the red colored beans are collected and roasted. After roasting, they will grind it, they will make it powder, and they sold it for brewing coffee or making coffee. There are two types of coffee plants, coffee arabica and coffee robusta. Robusta is the main variety produced in the world. Now let us look at the climate condition for coffee production. Coffee plants require moderate rainfall and warm climate. Sunshine and snowfall are harmful to the plant. During its growth, coffee plants require rainfall of 100 cm to 150 cm and temperature between 15 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. Irrigation is required where annual rainfall is less than 100 cm. So the main points regarding the coffee production, the climate. First of all, it requires a moderate rainfall, not a heavy rainfall, a moderate rainfall and a warm climate. And rainfall must be 100 centimeter to 150 centimeter. When we look at the temperature, it is 15 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. There shall not be sunshine and snowfall. And irrigation is required where annual rainfall is less than 100 centimeter. The important coffee producers are Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. In India, coffee is largely grown on the eastern sheltered landslopes of Western Ghats in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The main producers are Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. In India also it is produced, and mainly it is in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And the next farming is rubber farming. Natural rubber, also called India rubber, is used by many manufacturing companies for the production of rubber products like tires, etc. Currently, rubber is harvested mainly in the form of latex from the rubber tree or others. The latex is sticky, milky colloid drawn off by making incisions into the bark and collecting the fluid in vessels in a process called tapping. So how they collect this latex? Once again, rubber is produced from rubber tree and it is collected from or it is made from latex which is collected from rubber trees. So how do they collect this latex? And that process is called tapping. Tapping means the tree has a bark and they will make incisions. That means they will make marks on these barks. The barks of the tree means the skin of the tree. So they make marks on the skin of the tree, and through that skin or through that mark, a whitish colored something like a milk will be coming out, and it will be coming like a liquid, and it will be collected in vessel. A vessel means a small mug or a small cup or something like that. They collect this fluid, and that is called latex. And this process of making mark on the bark of the tree or the skin of the tree and collecting the fluid from the tree is called tapping. And from this latex they make rubber. They keep it from the morning till evening. Then this liquid become hard with the use of acid. That means they collect the latex, they mix some acids, and they keep it till the evening. By the evening it will become hard like rubber. Later it will be dried and it will be made in the form of tires and whatever materials or rubber products made with this. Rubber latex is extracted from rubber trees. The economic life period of rubber trees in plantations is around 32 years. That means if we plant a tree, a rubber tree, its lifespan is around 32 years. That means after planting, it will take 6 to 7 years to become mature, and this phase can be considered as an immature phase. During this time, we cannot collect the latex, or we cannot make any mark on the bark of the tree or the skin of the tree, and we cannot collect the latex. And thereafter, around 25 years, we can collect the latex from the tree. So around 32 years is the lifespan of a rubber tree. Now let us look at the soil required for this plant. The soil requirement of the plant is generally well drained soil or weathered soil consisting of lateritic types, sedimentary types, non-lateritic or alluvial soils. These are the names of the types of the soils. These are the soils which is required for the rubber plants. Now let us look at the climatic conditions for optimum growth of rubber trees. Optimum growth means the maximum growth. That means if the climate or if the soil is not good or even the plant is not good, then the production for latex will be less. So let us look at that. The climatic conditions. Rainfall of around 250 centimeter evenly distributed without any marked dry season and with at least 100 rainy days per year. So in an year there must be at least 100 days raining. That means a very good rain is required for rubber production. And the temperature is about 20 to 34 degrees Celsius with a monthly mean of 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. That means average 25 to 20 degrees Celsius temperature is required for rubber farming. High atmospheric humidity of around 80%. Bright sunshine amounting to about 2000 hours per year at the rate of 6 hours per day throughout the year. That means a good amount of sunshine also is required. Absence of strong winds. If there is a very strong winds, it will badly affect the growth of rubber trees. Many high yielding clones have been developed for commercial planting. That means they have done some scientific methods to create new plants and for commercial planting. So they will be getting a good amount of latex from the tree. These clones yield more than 2000 kg of dry rubber per hectare per year when growth under ideal conditions. That means when they use these high yield plants, then they will be getting a good amount of latex from the tree, and they can produce the rubber in a very good amount. That means it says that 2000 kg of dry rubber per hectare. For 1 hectare they will be getting around 2000 kg of dry rubber. That means when they get the latex, they will make into rubber, they will dry it, then the amount, the kg will be reduced. So likewise they will get 2000 kg of dry rubber in commercial planting. That is all about the rubber farming. And the next one is plantation agriculture. Plantation agriculture is the practice of agriculture which is a specialization of a single crop. So in that agriculture they will be cultivating only one crop, and over large estates or farms in a very wide area they will be cultivating the the crop, where most of the work is done on a scientific basis and where the product is processed before it becomes market oriented. So it means is that they will not be looking at the market, but they will be taking one single crop and they will be cultivating it in a very large area. Most of the plantations are grown in the tropical region under the hot and humid climatic conditions. So mainly it will be in the tropical region and hot and humid climates conditions. And the plantations are large in size and large number of laborers are needed to work on them. So it's a very large area is used for its cultivation. They will be cultivating anything. For example, it can be pineapple or it can be potato, something like that. A particular crop will be cultivated in the plantation agriculture, and a large number of laborers are also needed to work on them. Though there are fluctuations in the international market, that means there can be ups and rise. Sometimes they will get a good amount of profit, sometimes they may not be getting such a very good amount of profit. The profit will be less. Even though there are fluctuations in the international market, yet plantation agriculture is profitable. That means there can be fluctuations, ups and downs, but even then it is profitable. These plantations are originally developed by Europeans. Now most of them are owned and managed by the local governments or private companies. The produce is sold in national as well as international market. Tea in India and Sri Lanka, coffee in Brazil and Colombia, banana in Latin America and Caribbean islands, coca in Ghana, sugarcane in Cuba, etc. are some specialized plantation crops. Earlier, the plantations were developed in colonies. Colonies means British colonies. When the Britishers came here, they started these plantations. That's why it is said that Europeans started or developed this plantation agriculture. So with the colonialism coming to an end, when it came to an end, the plantations are now managed by the local residents of independent states. That's all about the plantation agriculture. Dear students, today in this audio we have seen about the commercial farming. The introduction we have seen, and then we have looked at the tea farming, coffee farming, rubber farming and plantation agriculture. You have to read it and underline the important points, note it down in your copy and learn it very well. Have a nice day. God bless you all.